Hi there, artists. I just wanted to get started with this new project. So I wanted to first show you this project is for family portraits, and I thought to myself, since we've been spending so much time with our families, this would be a great time to make a family portrait. And I wanted to show you that this is really a very historical phenomena that and especially in European art, like you can see all of these. I'm looking at what I looked for was family portrait paintings, and it came up with a lot of paintings that are created in what we call Western, which is European tradition of creating a painting very classical with like drapery and fancy furnishings and very, very fancy clothes to show their family and to show how well-to-do they are and how happy they are to be together. So, you know, here's a picture by, I think this is a Thomas Eakins painting, and then here are some other kinds of paintings also by famous portrait artists. There's some that are more contemporary, which just means that they're more recent. But we're going to be creating one that is more like a collage, and I'm going to show you some of the artwork by this particular artist in a second, and then we'll get started with the actual sketch. So the artist that I was focusing on for this art project is William Johnson, and he did this painting right here of a family, and it's very simple shapes, and it's not an actual collage, but it looks a lot like a collage. And what I mean by a collage is that there were a number of artists during this time, including, you can see Jacob Lawrence, and also there's another couple of artists from the same time period. It's during the Harlem Renaissance, who created these paintings and also collages that really showed the African American experience. So this is the one that we're focusing in on, and I wanted to use this one because it has these really nice simple shapes and it has that collage feeling to it. So when you actually do the second step of it, you could use collage if you want to, or you could use marker and paint. And I'm going to show you both techniques, but I just wanted to show you that particular painting so that you can get started with that. The first thing that you're going to want to do is make a sketch. So I'm going to start with making a sketch of my own family. You could base it off of a photograph. If you have a photo of your family, I recommend that you do a full-size picture of them, so as if they're standing up, not, you know, if you look at paintings and collages, a lot of times they have the full figure. Sometimes they have them cut off like this, and that's okay, but I recommend that you do full body because it will be a lot more fun when you do the collaging or the painting part. So you want to start off by kind of picturing your head or finding some references or deciding how you want your picture to look with your family in it. And you don't have to think too much about your background. It's going to be more about the people that are in it. So just like William Johnson does in this one, he has the people in the front, and the background is a lot less focus. Okay, I just wanted to show everyone what I've done so far. I just am making a little sketch, and you don't have to do a whole lot of details with your sketch. You just want to get it, the composition of it the way that you want, and you also want to make sure that the figures in your sketch are nice and big, because the larger they are, the more easily it will be to either collage or to paint them. If you have little tiny details, you're going to lose them. I mean, they're going to be hard to keep when you decide to do the painting or the collaging step. So I've created this so that there's a big couch that everyone's sitting on, and then I'm starting to draw a sketch in my figures. And I just want to point out to you all that as I'm working on them, there's a lot of places that I'm just kind of drawing very lightly and then erasing. So for example, I first had this head a bit bigger and I've made it smaller by erasing it, and this shoulder I've had to adjust, and I'm probably going to adjust it a little more. Same thing with the face in here. I'm really making little adjustments as I go, and I'm not committing to anything until I'm happy with how the lines are going. So I'm going to work a little more in this sketch until I get the shapes just like I like and exactly how I want them. And then for today, that's going to be the end of this week's. It's just going to be creating the sketch, finding some references, and really then thinking a little bit about color. You don't have to commit to color yet, because what we're going to do is do the sketch, and then next week start thinking about the colors that we want and getting together some materials for that. So I'm going to work a bit more in the sketch, and then I will show you again where I'm at. Okay, so here is my sketch, and I'm pretty happy with this now. I basically got in all the shapes the way that I want them. I've got my space outlined pretty happily. You don't need to really put too many things in here yet. You might want to consider doing foreground, middle ground, background. So really my foreground is the figures here, middle ground is this couch. My background, I might put a picture or a window in the background, and that would help the space feel a little more believable. But really your sketch just needs to be very simple. The people that are in your family, it looks like I'm going to have to adjust a couple of things still, but this is the general idea. And you don't need to color it in unless you want to. Like if you would like to start coloring it in just to sort of see what colors you want to use for the next part, you can. But just remember that you can, for the next part, you're either going to be using, you're probably going to want to just use this sketch to start putting your collage pieces or your painting into. So if you do any coloring on here in advance, you would lose that color, unless you just unless you decide that you want to keep it just the way that it is. So I hope that's clear. You're basically just creating the composition, the sketch, and the shapes of the people that you are creating your portrait for. And that's it for this week. I will see you again next week, everyone. Thanks. Bye-bye.